Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit?
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is your girl Tina here, and if you are new to the channel, do make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Join me, be a part of my beautiful family. So today is a lovely day. This is my birthday week, so I actually decided to go for a 2-day getaway with my partner. We decided to book a villa. I'm out of breath, I don't know why. We decided to book a villa out of Cape Town, so we are in Robinson. I'm going to show you guys a video of how the place looks. If you haven't watched my previous video, please make sure you watch my previous video. I know that it's been a long time since I've posted a video. I think it's about 2 years now. Honestly, I'm not proud, but what I can say is, like I've always been saying in all my videos, guys, life has been lifing, okay? If you are in your early 20s, you know for a fact that there's a lot of things that you're experiencing now that you never thought that you'd ever experience. And through all these experiences that you have, one thing that I can say that you probably have in common is basically experience, right? The way in which I had thought that my video, or should I say my YouTube channel was gonna go, should I say my YouTube career was gonna go, definitely didn't go according to plan, you know? I had very high hopes when it came to my YouTube channel. I felt like I really gave it my all, but at the same time, I wouldn't say gave it my all, because if I really did give it my all, I mean, the results would have been showing, right? But what I can say is I haven't been motivated, and I feel like there's a lot of reasons why. And as much as I really want to speak about my personal things, but I really don't want to do that because I don't want to use an excuse, because I don't want to feel like I'm making excuses. I feel like there's something there that shouldn't be there. Okay, whatever. I don't want to make excuses. So I'm just basically going to be talking about life in general, what I've been learning through the years that I've been, or should I say from the age that I've been right now, because I feel like every time on my birthday I always like to recap about all the things that have been happening and where I'm at financially, physically, emotionally, whatever the hell go. Like, it's been a lot. When I tell you that I've been very, very busy trying to figure out myself, especially being a person that was not really raised in a very rich background, I always feel like I have to make decisions that I know will benefit me. So at the time, I feel like YouTube was not getting me where I wanted to be, because even with the way I like doing my things in terms of equipment, in terms of lighting, like it's exactly what you guys are seeing now is basically the type of content that I wanted to create for you guys. But at the time, I was not physically, or should I say financially, there yet. I know for a fact that there's been people out there that have been mentioning that whenever it comes to YouTube, just put on a camera and just work with whatever you have. Me, I'm not the work with whatever you have type of girl. I love quality over quantities, you know? I don't like putting videos out there that I think that are okay. I like putting videos out there that I know that are gonna have an impact, and also is with the times. And I'm not saying if you're starting a channel, you need to have money, you need to do this, you need to have that. One thing for sure, that I'll never take away when it comes to YouTube, with everything that I've learned in terms of content creating, you always have to have money. So even when it comes to going out, you have to literally go to these places. They all require money, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're a person that wants to be consistent in what you're doing, it will always require money. So when you don't have that, your content tends to become, I don't want to say boring, but it's not about the times, you know? And I don't want to say, I'm not saying this to say like, okay, you need to have content with the times, but the point I'm trying to make is at the end of the day, you want to create content that people are going to enjoy, and you have to do what people are most interested in. Like, for instance, the most popular thing right now are traveling vlogs. The most popular things right now, when people are going out with their friends, going to different places, you know, that are more entertaining, that the videos are very attractive, or should I say not attractive, but like, what's the term I'm looking for, that are more eye-catching, you know, something different for the eye. You don't want to be waking up in the morning same thing every day, especially me being a person that I'm a working girl. I work most of the time, so it's like, if I'm going to do content, it wouldn't make sense that I do content, the same content all the time, because this is literally my life. I wake up in the morning, I take a shower, I get dressed, and I go to work. I come back around 9 p.m. and I do have my off days, but mainly my off days are basically days in which I just need to get my rest in, because I'm I work really hard. So most of the times I don't even have time for myself. Why? Because I'm very, very occupied with work. So I say this to say, because of the fact that I don't have like a content creator lifestyle, you know, so that kind of holds me back when it comes to wanting to create content that I know will actually bring me to where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want people to feel bad to think like, okay, so basically what you're saying is if you don't have money, you can't do content. No, content actually requires you to be spending money. So whether it means that you are physically going to a place, vlogging your way there, you are literally using money. You've probably paid for the Uber, you've paid for chill to actually do whatever you have to do. So I say this to say, when you are financially, not financially stable, but like when you have the income to be doing all of these things, it makes life so much easier. But when you don't have the income, it kind of like limits you to a certain extent. So that's what I feel like where I was at the time. You know what I'm saying? I felt like at the time I was still at a point in my life where I really needed to work on mainly my finances, so that when I do get to where I want to be with my finances, that means that I'm able to provide a certain quality for my I was about to say clients, for my supporters, you know. So because I'm able to provide a certain quality for my supporters, that basically means buying an amazing camera that you see right in front of you, buying the lighting, buying this, buying that, allowing myself to actually go to these places and vlog and show you guys what exactly it is that I want to. It basically allows me to be more free, if that makes sense. So I say this to say, yeah, so for me that's why I haven't really been like very active, because at the same time I feel like I have a very boring life. Like I'm a very active girl when it comes to my work. Like my work takes 99% of my lifestyle, and then that 1% is the time where I literally have for myself. What I am grateful for is that I finally got the DJI, thanks to my partner. He got that for me. It was on my birthday. It was my birthday present. I think it was my Valentine's present. He got this for me. But even so, I haven't been vlogging since. It's because I just, honestly guys, emotionally and mentally, I kind of like really just checked out of YouTube. Like it was no longer what was exciting me, even though I really know that this is literally something I love doing. But at the time, I guess for me it was more about finding something that really works for me at the time. And at the time I felt like, you know what, I need to focus on what I needed to focus on, which is what I put my energy on, which is basically my work. You know, in my heart I couldn't wait to be back on YouTube. I just knew that, you know what, when I do get back, I want to make sure that I'm at least consistent. I don't want to feel like I'm coming on here, dropping a video, and then I just leave and never come back and never see you guys again. I don't think that's what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that I do come back and you guys basically get the best out of me, you know? And am I saying this to say that I'm gonna be consistent on my YouTube? I'm not sure yet, because like I mentioned, my work takes all of my time. But when I do get a chance to vlog, I am gonna vlog. So that's how you notice, like on my vlogs, I don't really start like how a regular person would start their vlog, which is vlogging at home, doing, because I just, in my opinion, I just feel like, I don't want to say it's boring, because I'm not a boring person. That's just not my vibe. Like there's a way in which there's a way in which I like doing my things, you know. And if it's not up to my standard, then I'd rather not do that. So that's how you see most of the times I probably start my video if I'm on my way, because I just don't feel like I'm comfortable yet to bring people in my space, and until it's until it's that it's until I am very like satisfied with the aesthetic in which I have in my home. Like for example, I live with my parents, and most of the times I have my family home, so I wouldn't want to be vlogging when I have my family around. So really just like my environment basically does not allow me to be comfortable, you know what I'm saying, up until maybe one day if I get my own place, then maybe I can start vlogging and doing X, Y, and Z. So of course I know there's some people out there and be like, you know, there's nothing wrong with you living with your parents' house. I know for a fact there's nothing wrong with the aesthetic that I personally want. You know, I want to have a place whereby I'm mainly comfortable and I can just be me, you know. I'm not saying that my parents wouldn't allow me, my family wouldn't allow me to vlog. They don't mind. Like they'll be very happy to be on my vlogs, but for me, I just want the privacy, you know, just the privacy that I can get to actually. Is my hands dry? Jesus Christ. I'm just moisturized, darling. A few things that I've been learning in my early 20s. Honestly, what I can say is this, right? You as a woman, especially if you're in your early 20s, I just feel like it's very, very essential for you to put yourself first. Honestly, if there's anything that I'm learning, is that you have to put yourself first, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're with family, whether you're with, like, when I tell you that for the longest time, I feel like my way of thinking support was, I'm now starting to think that, yeah, certain things you just have to always have, like, limits, you know. And I say this to say, I'm Congolese, right? And from from the background that I come from, or should I say from our culture, it's very essential to be helping out your family members, to basically, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to help your family members out, but I just feel like with my situation, it kind of like really I didn't have boundaries, I started putting everybody first before I could put myself first, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to support your family, it's a bad thing to support your parents. You have to support your parents, especially if you're living back home. That stuff is it's not even something to debate about. That's something that has to happen. But what I'm saying is, when you are putting yourself first, I mean, when you're putting your family first, when you're putting people first before you put yourself first. An example of that I can give is this, right? You're working class, right? And if, let's say, for example, your parents are not doing so well financially and you are supporting them, right? And then you get to a point whereby you're giving everything that you have so that you can actually get to support your family without realizing that you're actually holding yourself back. I think for the longest time, that's what has been happening to me. I've been really, really hands-on on my family, not thinking, but like hoping that, you know what, if I can push my family now, if they get up, then eventually I can start working on myself, right? And then when I did that, it kind of really held me back a lot, because I started realizing that, damn, like I'm actually starting to reach my late 20s and I've got nothing for myself. Not a car, not a house. I haven't traveled out of the country. I haven't really been where I want to be in life, because I just feel like from all these years I've been there trying to push my family, and I'm not even where I want to be. And one thing I can say is this: you need to have a balance, right? A balance, like, what do I mean by that? A balance is basically knowing that, okay, yes, I work very hard. Like, I really do everything I could possibly do to get myself to where I want to be in life. But I also need to have a time whereby I actually also take care of myself. So taking care of yourself can basically be when you go out with friends, when you decide to just go do a getaway, it can even be for a few days, or when you just basically do something that basically excites you. It could be whatever. With me personally, I'm like a very much of a clean girl aesthetic. I'm not really much of the club type of girl. I'm more of like these type of vibes. Like, I love going to restaurants, I like trying out new food, I like going for the experience. I'm more of a calm girly. I'm not very much like out there. I'm also much of a home girl. So if anything, I love aesthetics that are basically giving this type of vibes. So I say this to say, it's very essential to basically know, like, what is it that you to basically make time for yourself, because you really work so hard, and it's essential to actually tell your body that, hey, like, you're doing amazing, and this is what we can do for the amount of work that you've been working for. Basically, this is the thank you, or should I say, this is like a gift to yourself, to say that, hey, like, you've been working hard and you deserve something. So with me, I feel like I really gave my all. And now at the age where I'm like, you know what, I need to start putting myself first. So I'm giving myself at least 6 months. I'm giving myself 6 months to work very, very hard. Certain things I'm not going to speak publicly, because I'm not going to hold myself to a certain standard. I don't want to feel like I said something now, you guys are going to be watching me for the next 6 months. Those are private. But what I'm saying is, I'm giving myself 6 months to basically get myself up again, because I feel like all that time I spent pushing people in front of me, should I say family members, friendship, relationships, whatever it is that I had going on, it kind of really pushed me back a lot, because I feel like I could have been way further than I am right now. And seeing that I'm a person who has a lot of discipline, a person that really kind of understands their way throughout life, I think. And I remember I even had this conversation with the person that I remember I took an Uber this one time, and I had a conversation with my Uber driver. He was basically, I didn't even know at the time that he was 1 year old younger than me. We were having conversations, and I feel like him and I kind of understood each other, because we were going through the same thing. So I realized that, okay, this is actually something that's very common in our community, or very common in general with what do you call us again? What do you call us? Millennials, right? It's very common with millennials, whereby we are young, we are working, and now we are like supporting home, which is the most greatest thing you can ever do. Like, I really appreciating supporting my family. Let me just put that out there. Okay, I am blessed enough to know that God has put me in a position to actually be there for my family financially. That part there is non-negotiable, right? But what I'm saying is having a boundary, right? I feel like in my community, most times you'd see that, especially with our parents and stuff. Let's say they're in a financial crisis, and then they would be like, "Hey, can you please borrow me this plus amount of money?" And then me being a person that's very supportive, I'd literally give them all that money. Like, whatever they ask for, I give them exactly that. So now, with our parents, or should I say with the older generation, I guess in their mindset, they think, okay, because I was asking you for this amount of money, you gave it to me so swiftly, so that means you have more than that, right? They don't realize that when I give you this amount of money, right, I'm expecting you to actually, and this is large sums of money. I'm not talking about small, I'm talking about large sums of money that you could actually use to actually have a much more bigger impact in your life. This is something that you could use to actually be working on whatever you have going on, you know? So I always feel like whenever, even in general, like whenever you ask somebody for money, right, you need to understand that that money that you've asked that person, that is the money that the person had probably plans with. But now that you've come with your plans into someone else's plans, it kind of like, what do I say, it kind of like affects the flow of that person's, whatever that person has going on that they have planned to do, right? So I feel like the same thing comes with family. So when a family member comes over and be like, hey, can I please get assistance for this X, Y, Z, and Z, especially when it comes to parents, I always feel like, you know what, if my mom asked me for everything, anything, my parents asked me for anything, baby girl, I'm supporting, because I mean, she gave me life. I mean, what else, you know? But at the same time, it's like, you really need to have a limit. So on my side, when I would financially help my family, right? I want to say family, but you guys know what exactly I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say like I have the worst. I don't want you guys to get me the wrong way. Like, I really hope that you guys understand what I'm trying to say without having to bash our parents, because that's not what I'm trying to do. So what I just feel like in general, when you do help out at home, right, it's very essential to know when is the limit, right? And understand that if you've helped this much already in this week, you need to slow it down, because that's really going to affect you in the long run. It got to a point whereby I would be helping, and then I would help, like, let's say in the week, I help in the week, I will help out with, I'm talking, when I'm talking about money, I'm talking about large sums of money, guys. I'm not talking about just any money, baby, right? And then you'd help out, and then in the next week, they probably ask for something small, you'd give that too, and then you still have your bills that you pay every month when you're living with your parents, and then after that, they would need something, you'd support them. If you really sit down and calculate all that money that you spent just in that month to your family, you realize, damn, that's actually a lot of money. You know, so I always felt like it's very essential to actually write down like how much you've actually spent, because I just feel like with the older generation, they tend to forget, you know, they forget very fast. And on my side, I'm more lenient, because it's like, no, it's my mom, it's my dad, like why not support? But then I'm realizing, no, it's actually really bad, because when you don't have track of what you're doing, you don't realize that the amount of money you're spending out there is actually more than what you're supposed to spend. Because when you have all that money to yourself, right, you're able to kind of delegate where you put where your finances are going, and you already have a flow of how you want things to work out. But when somebody comes in with their financial problems and you tend to support that, right, it kind of like affects the flow, right? And especially me knowing the fact that if I've given money out, I don't expect to get it back, because it's like, I mean, it's my family, why would I want that? But then I started to realize, damn, that is really taking a toll on me, you know. So especially when it comes to being like a millennial, it's very essential to really keep track of how much you spend, especially when it comes to supporting your family, knowing that you need to have a balance, and understanding that, hey, you also have a future, you also have plans. It's very essential that you understand that you also come first. So if anything, what I'm learning, or what I've learned right now, because now that I've sat down, I've thought about everything, I feel like, you know what, I'm not going to have a limit to the way in which I do things. I'm no longer just going to be superhero, Superman out. No, baby girl, no. I'm just gonna be a little bit more lenient, a little bit more understanding to myself, most especially understand that, hey, it's okay to say no. It is very much okay to say no, especially when you have plans, you know. And yeah, it's very essential to just understand that, hey, there's a time and there's a place, and if you've done this, you're not inclined to do it again. You just need to kind of be like, okay, mom, dad, yeah, you know, I've done the most now, but now it's time that I start putting myself first. So more than anything, I'm just going to challenge myself this year to kind of like understand that I came first. And that's about it. The second thing I want to talk about, third thing actually, is relationships. You know, relationships for me are very complex. It's very, very complex because, you know, when you meet somebody that come from a different background as you, it's very, very hard to kind of like navigate things. You know, I'm losing my train of thoughts. It gets to a point where you're with your partner and things are always great in the honeymoon phase, and then when you've like spent like a year to a 2 year gap with your partner, not a 2 year gap, but like if you spent a year to 2 years with your partner, there's certain things that you start to realize, damn, like me personally, I feel like in order for you to know somebody, especially if you're a girl that is planning on getting into a relationship, a serious relationship for marriage, this video is for you. This part of the video is for you. But if you're a girl whereby you feel like it's not for you, baby girl, I understand. I would want to be you too, but you know, it's a jungle up in these streets. It can be a jungle, okay? Actually, it's a jungle everywhere. Whatever route you take, as long as the opposite gender is involved, like there's always going to be drama regardless, okay? So in essence, we're all suffering, but you just got to choose the suffering that you want to suffer. I mean. So, yeah. So basically, relationships are very complex, and sometimes you just want to, but you can't because you don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go. You don't want to go to prison. But yeah, it can be very, really hard. I think for me, what I've learned, right? I feel like it's gonna be very hard for me to place this in words because I know what I'm trying to say, but how do I put it in a way in which you guys can understand me without judging me, without misunderstanding me, without judging and misunderstanding me? Relationships to me is basically mainly up here, right? If anything, it's right up here. And the reason why I say this is basically, you see how, okay, how do I word this so that you guys understand? You see relationships, right? Relationships. Now, I'm not talking about like the entire aspect. No, I'm talking about this particular thing that I've really clocked, like I've understood about a relationship. How you guys, there's a honeymoon phase, right? And then there's a phase where you start to learn the person, right? And then there's a phase where shit starts to get down, right? So that's the phase whereby the devil and God is challenging your relationship, trying to see if you guys are able to surpass. I feel like that part of the relationship, not everybody is able to surpass that, because if you get to that point of your relationship and you guys are still together even through that part of your relationship, that means that there's a higher chance that you guys can actually do well, or should I say you guys can actually be together, you know? So relationships in general are just very challenging, but it's a matter of basically finding somebody that you know that you can basically spend the rest of your life with. That's what it is. So when I'm speaking about this particular part of relationship that I've learned, this is just a piece, right? I'm not speaking broadly, I'm just speaking particularly that part that I'm trying to explain right now. It's actually right up here. I say this to say, if you're in a relationship with somebody, right, and then there's certain things that you do that person has been not happy about. Like, for example, I'll give you is that, let's say, like, we all have characters, right? Characters can be good characters or it can be bad characters. A character can basically be something that makes you who you are, or something, a habit that you have, maybe based off the experiences you had, or maybe based off whatever you are. Like, that's just the way you are. Probably you were shaped that way, you were born that way. I don't know. It's different for everybody. So I say this to say, if there's certain things that you've done in a relationship to your partner, there's just certain things that you don't forget, right? So that's why for me, whenever I pray, I always pray to God to allow me to not affect somebody to the point whereby they start to hate. How do I put this in words? Okay, so let's say, for example, right, you've been in a relationship with somebody and that person was very disrespectful to you, right? He'd publicly humiliate you all the time, right? And then that becomes your pet peeve. So now when you break up with that person in your next relationship, right, you want to mainly focus on a person who, not focus on a person, but like, you know, now mainly focus on making sure that you never have to deal with a person that has that type of characteristics, right? So I say this to say, I don't ever want to be a person whereby I give a person a reason to feel like when they get into the next relationship, they never get that part of me. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy. Basically what I'm saying. And then one thing I've noticed is that not everybody thinks like that. So how you treat your partner, right? There's certain things that you might do to them that they will never forget, even though you guys are together. Like, even though you guys spend, let's say, your lifetime together, you guys decide to get married, there's certain things that you would do to them that you don't work on. Example would be, for example, we're in a relationship, right? And maybe we got into an argument and you didn't celebrate my birthday. Things that are very, very essential. Things that you know that, hey, this is something that my partner really loves. This is something that my partner really does not take for granted, or something that you know that is very special to you. And then your partner decided to basically, just because you guys got into a small, dumb argument, now he basically takes that away from you, right? That creates like these types of animosity, like in your heart for that person. And then you eventually, even though you move on from it, you don't really move on for it because, excuse me, you never really forget. Like, these are things that kind of like slowly kills relationships, or it puts people in a position to basically have animosity, you know. So that's why it's essential, like in relationships, to really like understand like what your partner loves, so the things that your partner really takes, like take seriously or don't take for granted, which is like the things that they love the most. So an example I could give is basically maybe your birthdays, you love celebrating your birthdays, or you love your family wholeheartedly and you would never want somebody to speak ill of them, or basically your deal breakers, like things that you know that your partner really really appreciates, like always making sure that you do not ever do something that will jeopardize them or put them in a position to like have this animosity towards you, right? And hence why communication is very essential, because that could really slowly just deteriorate your relationship without even you realizing. I think that for me is a very, very essential thing. You know, whenever people say things like, hey, you need to date multiple people to see, for me personally, that never really works. I feel like for me, it's like, it's very, very hard to, by the way, I'm in a relationship. I'm not saying I'm dating around when I'm with my partner. No, I'm just saying in general, like as a broad base, before I was in a relationship, like it's very hard to actually date people around, because then how do you date multiple people without having to have a sexual relationship with them? You know what I'm saying? That for me never really works out. Like it's always easier for me to kind of like be with one person and one person only and focus on that person rather than having multiple people, because if you really think about it, like men want one thing and one thing alone most of the time. So it's like, how do you navigate all of these people and knowing who to give you your insights to and who not to give you insights to? Like it's very, very hard. So I feel like that really doesn't really work out for me. It really doesn't work out. With me, I'm more like, I'm a lover girl. I love love. I love to love my partner. I love to care for my partner. So having like multiple people, it never really works out. It's just like, yeah. I just feel like when you're in early 20s, if anything, finding like a stable relationship really works in your best interest, because that doesn't really affect you mentally and emotionally, especially spiritually, because I do believe like having sexual relationship with multiple people does affect your spirituality. It does affect your flow in life, because then you have all these things in your, all these souls in your heart, what is it called, ties, that your soul ties that you have in you, that will affect your way in your path to life, especially seeing how things are going nowadays. Like it's really tough out here. So having to share your soul with other people that you don't even know kind of does affect the flow of your lifestyle. And also very important, having the certain types of friends. Like with me, I have no friends, guys. I know a lot of people, but in terms of friends, no, I don't really have that. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. I hardly have friends. I do have like people that I talk to on a daily basis, but like for me, friendship is when you like you meet, you see that person every day, calling up and down. Like I don't have that. I'm a very, very private person. I'm to myself. I just feel like the more I am by myself, the less problems I have, right? And me, I'm a person that hates problems. Like I don't know if my lipstick is looking okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm a person whereby I don't like drama. So because I don't like drama, I always avoid people, because I just feel like it makes life so much easier for me. And honestly, it's been working in my favor, because I don't know when last I've ever had drama, guys. It's been 6 years. Dramaless. Because women are very dramatic. But I do know a lot of people. But in terms of like having somebody that you could call and be like, hey, tell me about Tina. Ain't nobody gonna tell you that, because that's a lie, darling. That girl don't know me. You can't claim me. I'm unclaimable. But yeah, so it's very essential to like understand like the type of partner or the type of friends or company that you keep around you really has a major impact on how your life is going to turn out. So if you are in a circle with the wrong people, best believe that there's a 99% chance that your life is basically going to go that way. But if you surround yourself with people that are more or less in the same position as you and working towards something, or people that are just in a higher position as you, because that's not going to motivate you to want to do better and greater for yourself. So more than anything, I've learned that, hey, what you watch, what you eat, where you go to, what you spend your time on really has an impact on how the rest of your life is gonna go. I'm not saying this to say that I'm perfect. I gym every day. I go to the gym. It's not me. I haven't been to the gym in a very long time. Actually, I was last at the gym in December. So I do plan on going back to the gym, but honestly, work has taken everything out of me. So I'm not saying that you have to be on par. At the end of the day, we're only human. We can only do a few things at a time, especially when we're going through so much, like mentally, emotionally. There's just so much to life. You just have to always like figure out what is it that works for you. So I'm not trying to put pressure on anybody. Like, honestly, take your time. In life, just take your time, but make sure that the things that you're learning, you learn them and not go back there more than anything. Like, I remember there's been so many chances where I've told myself, you know what, I'm now gonna put myself first, and then before I know it, I'm doing the exact same thing that I promised to myself that I won't do anymore. So just basically having that discipline of understanding that this is something that actually really got me under the pits, right? It got me under the flipping, what can I say, it put me through hell. So why do I need to go through that path again? Like, just understanding that because I already went down that drain, I should make sure that I don't make decisions that will put me again under that drain again, if that makes sense. So most especially, it's very essential to make sure that the people that you surround yourself are people that will really have a major or big impact. And also, most importantly, you need to basically capitalize being around people that are doing well. Like, capitalize, like when you spend time with people that are doing well, learn a few things from them and try and see what is it that you can do for yourself. Because the more you spend time on social media, you don't realize that these people that are creating all this content for you, they're pushing all of these things, that are pushing all of this content and getting all the views. You sitting there and watching them, right? They're actually getting to where they want to be more than you are. Why? Because they put it in the work. So while you sit there and you're watching them, you know we're close to where they want to be. And I say this for myself too. Like, if I had continued with YouTube, because I think I've been on YouTube for like 8 years, if I had been very consistent, I feel like I would have really gotten monetized. I would have supposed to be earning by now. But because I know what exactly I want and what I'm looking for, that is why I haven't been like producing the type of content, or I haven't been posting. I haven't been posting because I know that, no, there's a certain standard that I want, and until I get that standard is when I know that I'm gonna be ready to give it my all. And I know for a fact that when I do come back to this video one day, I'll be very proud of myself, because I know that I literally challenged myself to do exactly what I said I was gonna do, and I did it. Period. It's essential, guys, because if you really think about it, right, if you out there chilling with women that just all they do is just talk about other people's life, worried about what the next person's doing, if you really look at these people, that most times these people have nothing going on for themselves. Because if you have something going on for yourself, you have no time in this world to be out there in people's business. You're worried about what you got going on, because that would actually push you to actually do better. So honestly, I had amazing chat with you guys. I just have to wrap this video up because the sun is about to go down and I need to take some pictures in the house. And also, I just have this time to actually do this video, and I'm so sorry that I have to cut this video short. I really had an amazing time speaking with you guys, and hopefully I can do another video like this one day. Again, not one day, but again. I just want to say thank you guys so much for spending time with me. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let me know what you really think. What do you think are the things that I've said in this video that you can resonate with, something that you can take, or anything that you've learned in the video? I'd really and highly appreciate it. Please become more active on my channel. Something I've noticed that not a lot of people comment on my video. I don't know if there's something that I'm not doing right. Please make sure to comment down below and let me know so that I can work on it. If you haven't subscribed to, make sure you join and be a part of my beautiful family. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Bye. Love you guys so much. Take care, and Ganye. It is very cold in this house. It's not even a joke. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. We do have an aircon, but it's making noise. I don't want to make noise while I'm filming. Maybe I should keep it like this. This is how I really wanted to do this video, like this. See how I had to suffer for you guys. Because I love you so much.
Who's calling that shit?